Why, hello there, friends, and welcome to the obligatory top 5 of 2020. If this is your first rodeo here on the channel, welcome. But I'm here to tell you that the obligatory top 5 is a video that I do at the end of every year where I count up my top 5 most enjoyable games that I played and finished, or almost finished, on the channel. That means that such games like Making Lovers, which I am in the middle of, are ineligible to be put on the top 5 this year, as I am not really that close to finishing it. But on the flip side, other such games like Alcana and Katawa Shoujo are, in fact, eligible to be put on the list, as they are almost complete. As you can probably already tell, the year of which the game came out also doesn't really matter in the slightest. They could have been released this year, last year, whatever year, fucking Stone Ages for all I give a shit. They can still be put on the list. It doesn't matter. All that matters is if I played and finished, or almost finished, the game this year on the channel. That year being 2020. We also have a few other categories, but I'm gonna keep those a secret for now. You'll see them as we go along. I think we have like two new ones or something. I will say though, this year was literally the hardest year to pick my top 5. We may have not finished as many games this year that we did last year. But holy shit, each game we did finish this year was a fucking banger, as the kids would say. They were fire lit. So if you see some games in the honorable mention and you were like, what? I thought that would have been top 5. Just fucking know that those literally just didn't make the cut for the top 5. Just barely. But each could easily be there in an alternate timeline where I just felt different that day. But without further ado, I think it's time to start. We might have some spoilers, just letting you guys know, maybe. I don't know. But let's jump on in to the obligatory top 5 of 2020. The Princess, the Stray Cat, and Matters of the Heart 1 and 2. Ha! Or what I like to call, or really just shorten them to, Nora Neko Heart 1 and 2. And yes, you heard correctly. I did put both of them up on there in a bit of a loophole, as this is my show. And I kind of already have an opinion on the second game, despite not having almost finished it like I finished the first one. It's more of the same. More of what you get from the Nora Neko Heart, except probably a bit more emotional. But this series is just, to me, such a good goddamn time. The story, is basically the Princess of Death from the Netherworld comes up the surface to, kill everyone. And to remind everyone about death. Because apparently people are forgetting about death. I don't know how you forget about death, but hey, it happened. And the main character strolls along, finds her laying there because she's puking her goddamn guts out because she can't handle the life around her. He ends up taking care of her, and then he gets turned into a cat by her and made her familiar. It's great. And then insanity ensues from there. There's a bunch of different routes, and it's fun. And personally, as others have also pointed out while I played through the series in the comments section and such, I think the game does a really good job when it comes to stories of, family values, or the concept of family. A lot of the stories tend to be driven by family, and that, along with how likable most of the characters tend to be, create such a enjoyable, emotional and just straight up fun package. That goes for both games as well, though they, like I said earlier, definitely went a bit harder with the emotion in the second game. So now we're gonna get to the little elephant in the room before we move on. You know, it is the censored version, because the localized version got censored. But at least it was for a semi-good reason. They just couldn't get the rights for the H-scene lines. I don't know how that even happens, but so they just decided to go this route. Maybe one day, I know there's like a restoration patch or whatever, maybe for that, like the fans are trying to do. So maybe they'll put that in there. From what I understand, they got away with a lot anyway, and all they did was cut the H scenes. And honestly, being the YouTuber crazy man, it kind of helped me a lot. Also, it's really fucking funny that it just cuts to black whenever an H scene happens. But I just always laugh every goddamn time. But I'm just glad I was able to experience the games, and you guys should check them out too if it sounds and looks interesting. And this marks Snoring Echo Heart 1 and 2 as my number 5 of 2020. This is my show. Get over it. Best VN Waifu of 2020. Now I think it makes most sense putting this category after number 5, because the top waifu of this year just so happens to be from the series, aka Snoring Echo Heart, and that being Patricia the End. Basically how I did this was I looked at all the series that I finished and put the little straw poll at the end, you know, for this year, and she had the most votes out of everybody just consecutively. Is great. So honestly, completely understandable. Patricia is a character that literally all of us should aspire to be. I've even said that in the series itself. You know, she's kind, patient, loving. She's always seeking knowledge. It's very hard to like actually anger her. Like I said, she's got the patience of a goddamn saint. And, you know, she's always looking forward and looking toward learning the next thing. So, yeah. Who would have thought? But Patricia is the channel's top waifu of 2020. Do you like wacky? Do you like just fucking stupid? Do you like a visual novel that literally doesn't give a flying fuck about its story and is solely in it for the memes? Well, look no further than right here in Lamination International. Playing this game, to me, was like if you took crack, meth, and perhaps every other drug in existence and just mixed it into your ramen drink and chugged it all the way down your gullet and the bottle as well just to see what would happen. As I said, the story literally doesn't even matter in this game. Does it have one? Yeah. Is it alright? Yeah, sure. But let's be real. You aren't picking up Blamination for the fucking story. You pick it up for the goddamn memes and the stupidity of each and every goddamn character. You have Luna, who's barely the main character, but he still is somehow. He's a badass magic man who loves eating random shit off the ground and shoving bottles up his ass just to see how many can fit. You have Lamine, who's a character that is whatever the hell everyone else says she is, because despite at the same time being the most sane one of the group, surprising enough. You got the twins, Iris and Rayla, who are just both fucking silly in their own ways, with Iris being able to call a cherry Death Star, and Rayla with her obsession with puns. And then you got the psychopath little sister of the main character, Krona. Yeah, I know, funny. Who is just as powerful as the main character, but with even more insanity. And the game is just insane. It's wacky from start to finish. And every time I played it, I felt my brain cells dying ever so slowly. And ever since finishing it, when I did finish it, I lost all but 3 of my brain cells. Was it worth it? You're damn fucking right it was. Because guess what? I got to fuck Corona. And really, that's all anyone wanted to do this year in 2020. Lamination International, everybody. My number 4 of 2020. Patreon pick of 2020. Now, if you guys don't know, I do in fact have a Patreon, and every year around this time, I put up a vote on there of what game was the most enjoyable for everyone this year. They each have like 5 votes they can do, put them in there. And this vote can override all top 5 rules, meaning that the games don't even have to be finished or whatever. And that winner this year was Making Lovers. Actually, you know, it almost was Son of a Witchy again, because it got it last year too for the Patreon pick. But you know, one vote beat it out. I think the same thing happened last year between like Happy Nightmare and Son of a Witchy. But this year, Making Lovers won the Patreon pick, and that game is definitely top 5 material. Maybe next year. Maybe once I'm actually finished with the game, it'll be definitely top 5 material. But yeah, in the end, that final vote was in fact cast, and Making Lovers became the Patreon pick of 2020. You and me and her, a love story, aka Totino. What a fantastic game this is. What a goddamn ride. It's a game where literally nothing insane happens. It's just it's a nice story about a love triangle. And let me tell you, nothing, absolutely nothing crazy or earth-shattering happens. I can't do it. I can't even. But god damn it, I just can't, I can't. As much as I want to go into depth about this due to me actually putting the spoiler warning in my opening statement, I really just don't have it in my heart to ruin the experience for people. It's definitely a game that I would suggest 5 billion% to play yourself. It's such a special game that I think will always stick with me. And I'll always remember due to its meta nature, I guess I could say. You guys know how much I love meta shit. I eat that shit up for breakfast. And there were definitely parts in the game that made me uncomfortable. That made me, like, you know, have to take a break from the game that day. But most of the game was fucking brilliant in its storytelling and execution. I'm telling you right now, like I've already thought, I'm saying it again. If you get a chance to play it, do yourself a favor and do it right then and there. Just drop everything. Or, I mean, if you want to watch me play it and descend into true insanity, you could do that too. But, yeah. Totino is such an amazing game. Amazing title, and it's also my number 3 of 2020. Biggest surprise of 2020. You know how you know I had to do it. I had to do it again. I couldn't resist making the same joke 2 times in a row for the top 5, and you fuckers know it. Trap Legend was my biggest surprise this year. Not only because the romances are with traps, or are definitely hiding massive surprises underneath their undergarments, but it was genuinely a surprise to me to see that we got a sequel for the game localized so soon. I didn't have to be honest, I didn't even know that a sequel was going to be made or was made. Even though, you know, like, I thought it was going to be like, the game left on a cliffhanger. Oh, well, I won't see the conclusion, maybe. No, they fucking brought it out. I just didn't see it coming. But then, boom, it showed up right there on the storefront. Which gives me hope that next year I'll have another big surprise of the next Trap game. So yes, Trap Legend is my biggest surprise of 2020. Best transition of 2020. Honestly, Son of a Witchy has transcended past the realm of normal top 5, and instead it's claimed its rightful place as having the best goddamn transition you've ever fucking seen. I never shut up about it. I don't know, man. It's short, sweet, rolls off the goddamn tongue. But hey, best transition goes to Son of a Witchy. So how's about we take a listen here?
Son of a Witch.
You're damn right. Well, looky here. The old Eden of Grisaya. You guys know how much I love the Grisaya series. And this final game in the trilogy, the original trilogy, is no different. Ever since I started playing Grisaya, the series has always been able to secure its place at least somewhere in the top 5 since it's, whenever I finished a game that year. And with good reason. The series as a whole is just incredible, and I feel like the third and final game in the trilogy just ends the series off on a good spot, you know? It's not every day you see the harem of the protagonist, go and actually save the protagonist. Yuji already did that in the previous game, so now it was their turn, huh? It was nice to see. And for the most part, everything gets wrapped up pretty well, in my opinion. And finally, the Book of Yuji gets to be closed and end on a fairly high note, I like to think. Where, he finally gets to rest, have a family, live in peace with everyone who loves him, in his own island that Asuko gave God to God. But I know a lot of people had a bone to pick with the after story specifically, but it was fine. It didn't ruin my enjoyment of the game, and it was nice to see Yuji in a less stressful environment than before. Well, aside from the baby. But hey, you know what? That's fine. But yeah, Eden of Grisaya is a great visual novel, as well as the other two preceding it. And hence why this year it's my number 2 of 2020. Before we jump into the number 1 of this year, I just want to say again, there were too many good goddamn games to put on the list this year. Honestly, if it was a top 5, yeah, I wouldn't have a problem. But as it stands, that's what I do. I do top 5. So I had to put, 5 other games in the honorable mentions, which could definitely go in the top 5 on their own. It was just how they were just positioned there due to how I weighed them in my heart. So, how about we just go into the honorable mentions, shall we? I have a feeling a lot of you knew this game was going to be #1 this year. At least those people that watched the series or played the game along with me could have told you that. This game made me feel more feelings than anything else that did this year. And that's saying something. But that's what happens when you play a game where you gotta say goodbye to the characters that you truly love. Now that's not a spoiler, of course. The game makes that very clear to you right up front, right at the start. One day, the main character, he stumbles upon a cursed Blu-ray, which after being exorcised, ends up, you find out it ended up housing a girl, whom, in turn, houses 6 spirits of other girls inside of her. All one body, as it were. You are told straight up that you have 49 days to help them move on, without regrets, or you risk them becoming evil spirits after, the 49 days. And due to that time limit, each girl gets 7 days to try to live out their final moments without regrets and try to get through what they need to get through. And of course, you help them. You spend time with them, get attached to them, and eventually you have to say goodbye. The visual novel really does a great job at getting you attached to the characters, despite having such a short amount of time with them. I think everyone that, watched or played the game got at least super attached to one of the girls. Like myself, with Sakura. Oh god, I got a tear already. See, that's how you know it stuck with me. Unfortunately, Sakura was also the first one I had to say goodbye to, and I fucking still tear up whenever I hear a goddamn wind chime now. It's like literally, even outside, it's like a trigger now. I'll just, a tear's falling from my eye. I wonder why. But I damn well know why. Despite each girl having to, take over the same body when it's, their time to spend their 7 days, they're all designed in a way to match their auras, and I love that. And each of their chapters is different in their own way because they each have something different that they're trying to get through or, just deal with. And, they unfortunately, due to story reasons, you can't branch out too far within the city that's set in. But hey, that didn't really stop the game now from going places, now did it? I'm god damn it. But although this game did make me feel so much pain and agony, because I don't do well with, saying goodbye. It also made me feel, enjoyment a lot. And I do believe it is going to be my #1 game of 2020. Way to go, 7 days. I definitely hope the developers' other games get localized as well, because I heard they can make me fucking cry just as hard, or if not harder, than this one did. Oh boy, that's a scary thought. That is definitely fucking scary. I hope you guys really enjoyed the list this year. I know not everyone will agree, of course, but hey, it's my list, not everyone's list. And I'd like to see your guys' list in the comments as well. It doesn't have to be games on the channel. This is just for, that's just me, but just tell me, like, games in general you played, visual novels, whatever. Make your own little top 5 list. Whatever the hell you want to do. I don't care. Just put it in the comments. Go ahead. You guys know I love reading comments. You have other YouTubers asking for likes. I always ask for comments because they're fun. I like reading what everyone has to say. But speaking of likes, make sure you like... No, I can't. I always got to do that joke, but... Dude, 2020 was an insane year. War almost started. A pandemic started. All sorts of other crazy shit just kept on happening for no fucking reason. But for visual novels and stuff, it was a great year, funnily enough. Hopefully next year will be a lot better for the world. As well as visual novels. But hey, I'm going to get out of here. I'm slightly disgusted at my, don't forget to, you know. So I'll see you guys later in the next exciting episode of the top 5 next year, where hopefully we'll have some crazy games on there as well. So I'll see you guys next time.